Music is as old as humanity itself. But for most of our history, it was a fleeting moment, gone as soon as the last note faded. That changed over 3,400 years ago, in the ancient city of Ugarit, located in what is now modern-day Syria. Archaeologists discovered a series of clay tablets, but one stood out. Hurrian Hymn Number 6. It's the oldest known written music. It wasn't just lyrics. It contained specific instructions for tuning a 9-stringed lyre and intervals for the performer to follow. Imagine the sound. A haunting melodic hymn dedicated to the goddess Nikal, echoing through the halls of a lost civilization. But the true alphabet of music, the math behind the melody, would be refined centuries later in ancient Greece. Pythagoras, famous for his triangles, discovered that music was governed by mathematical ratios. He realized that harmony was literally a numbers game. The Greeks developed a complex system of notation using letters and symbols placed above text, as seen in the Seculos epitaph. After the fall of Rome, much of this sophisticated notation was lost to time. Music returned to being an oral tradition for centuries. In the medieval church, monks had to memorize thousands of chants. To help them, they began using small marks called neumes. At first, these neumes were just memory aids, showing if the melody went up or down, but they didn't show the exact pitch. Enter Guido d'Arezzo, an 11th century monk who changed everything. He wanted a way to teach singers to read music accurately. Guido invented the staff, initially 4 lines, where the position of a note indicated its exact pitch. No more guessing. He also created solmization, the ancestor of our do, re, mi. He used the syllables of a hymn to teach the intervals. He even used the Guidonian hand as a visual map for singers. With this system, music could now be taught, shared, and preserved perfectly. This was the turning point. Once music could be written down reliably, composers began to experiment with multiple voices at once, polyphony. In the great cathedrals of Europe, music grew in complexity. Composers like Leonin and Perotin built towers of sound that would have been impossible without the page. By the Renaissance, notation had become an art form. It allowed for the preservation of masterpieces by Palestrina and Josquin. The system Guido started is essentially the same one we use today. It's the universal language of the Western musical tradition. In just a few millennia, we went from scratching cymbals on clay to capturing the intricate symphonies of the Enlightenment. The invention of music printing in the 15th century meant that music wasn't just for the elite. It could be mass-produced and shared with the world. Without written notation, we wouldn't have the orchestral works of Beethoven, the complex harmonies of jazz, or even the structured melodies of pop. It turned music from a localized oral history into a global language that can travel through time and space. Notation was our first way of recording sound before we had the technology to actually capture the air vibrating. But capturing the notes was just the beginning. The next great leap was making those notes speak through the instruments we built. From the invention of the piano to the birth of the synthesizer, the tools we used to play the music evolved alongside the way we wrote it. Today, we can write music without ever touching a piece of paper, using code and digital samples to create entire worlds of sound. Yet every time we open a sheet of music or a project file, we're continuing the legacy that began with that simple clay tablet in Ugarit. In part 2, we'll look at the incredible machines we built to bring these written notes to life. Join us for the next chapter. Until then, keep listening to the history all around you. See you in the next one.